All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the half. I am Eric Campbell. You can find me at ericcampbell.com. And this guy over here is the man, the myth, the legend, screen printer extraordinaire, author, and always the talent, your favorite educator and mine, man about town, Terry Combs.
All
Terry,
right, I
thank you
am
for being here.
absolutely. I'm not Aaron Montgomery, although we have been confused for each other many, many times. Back in the day when Aaron and I first met, we always roomed together at trade shows and things like that, and so it was always like somebody walk in the booth and go, "Hey, do you know where Aaron is?" I'm like, "No, I'm not his keeper. Why does everybody always ask me where he is?"
Believe it or not, they are not surgically attached to the hip. They do walk separately when they feel like it. But I'm very happy to have you here. And by the way, thank you for joining us on the half. Fantastic to have you in, especially after we just had an amazing Two Regular Guys episode. If you guys missed it, you have got to go back and see this one. We had Marge and we had Amber and Deanna on for the kind of women in garment decorating thing we do. We're talking about marketing. So Margie's leading a big look, and Deanna into ink. We had her stuff going on. We had Teas for Good which was Amber stuff, Amber Massey, which you may have seen her in articles recently. Just incredible discussion on your voice and building community and marketing. So it was really cool to see that. And so I'm not going to just entirely turn this into the after show, but I might turn this into the Two Regular Guys after show.
Well, and Eric, thank you for sitting in for Aaron today because he is
Yeah,
off doing seminar upon seminar upon seminar down in Chattanooga today and
this is
tomorrow, I
true.
think.
Yeah, everything embroidery market going on with the huge class load that he and his lovely wife are taking on today. So lots going on. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring in some people to say hi before we get into it. As always, if you have questions or comments, and by the way, if you have screen printing questions, for once we have someone who can answer questions here. If you have any questions you want to ask, and you are live right now, get into the chat. Hey, if you're in replay squad, you're watching this later, do it anyway. We can answer you later on in the chat as well. But ask questions, derail us, talk about whatever you want to, talk about your own marketing and social media. But I am going to go ahead and say hi to a few folks who are here, as we always do in the half. So we have Christine Shreve, who, by the way, great comments today. Thank you very much, Christine, originator of
Absolutely.
the Women in Garment Decoration kind of quarterly that we do. Nice to see you again. Nice to have you in. Cindy came
And
out of
the person who named the regulators as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, Christine, always doing good work. Cindy out of Texas saying hi. We've got Marianne coming in from Santa Fe, another New Mexican like myself. So awesome to have you in today. Ramona, Terry, welcome to the half. See, people are excited to see you. They said we're just here to make Terry look good. He is the talent, folks. You got to know that.
Whatever.
We're gonna be giving him too much trouble today. Uh, Always, we have Todd saying "yo." Well, there is the classic "yo" from Todd. And Kim, who luckily might have missed the stories that you told twice, hopefully. She's saying, "Hey, friends. Hi, Kim."
She'll be calling me out.
Well worth it. And Ramona says, I was just thinking the hip connection too. No, like I said, I will confirm they are entirely separate. Aaron's not hiding somewhere off screen. He for sure is off somewhere else right now. So Jeff Fuller of Fuller Embroidery Works says hello. Hi, Jeff. Smoky Visions Crafts, do let us know your name in the comments if you want me not to refer to you as your business name. But hello. And Christine says, women on 2RG were amazing. Marge and Deanna and Amber were wonderful. A lot of good info. Absolutely. They were great. So, yeah, Cindy, if you were like Cindy and didn't get a chance to watch, go check out the replay. Should already be starting at Facebook and it'll come up later as it processes in the other channels. Fantastic.
Cindy must have a real job.
Like we said, your job is to make those embroidery needles move and those squeegees move. Don't worry about watching shows. Listen to those while you work. Uh, Never apologize for doing the work that we're actually trying to do. Mike from out in Canada says, "Hello, hello, Mike."
I think that's a reference to the Big Bang Theory, but
If it is, I wouldn't know it. You'll have to fill me in. Bill says, "Hi, Terry. Funny, but I asked Aaron where you guys were at DAX the other day. Yeah, I was AWOL, and Terry had already rock starred out. He was gone and on to the
I
next
totally did
thing.
the rock star thing. I got in Thursday night, Friday. As soon as my second seminar was gone, boom, then I was heading back to the airport.
Yeah, if you ever hear us talk about rock starring, that's where you fly in, do your class, and fly out on to the
Right,
next
no
one.
setup, no tear down, no nothing.
Just rock in, rock out. Adelina in saying hello. We got lots of people being here. It's awesome. So yeah, we've got a few more people. By the way, Edward, thank you, Edward. Happy to have you in. And then let's see, last couple here we're in. So Christine says, "Does that make me the fairy godmother of the regulators?" You named them. I don't know what you have to give them as a gift now, but it could be dangerous.
I love it.
All right. And then Cindy says, "When I come back from lunch, I will catch a replay. Always, replay squad is valuable." And you are right. Mike says, "Hey, you caught that, Terry. Man,
I,
he's
the
on the
Big Bang
ball.
Theory is my jam.
He, he loves that stuff." So that or zombies. If you got zombie stuff, he is an expert. Believe
Yeah, I
me, he
like
will
that too.
survive.
Yeah.
That's not nice. Todd says Terry is the Ric Flair of the printing world minus the hair. That's rough, man. It's rough.
It said fair, but yeah, whatever.
Well, he
Hey,
tried to correct himself. He tried.
Todd, did you comment about our? Were you watching? Did you see the dad joke? I didn't. I didn't see a comment about the dad joke.
Yeah, I didn't see a
So
follow up on that, and I mean that was a good dad joke. If you guys didn't catch it, and I'm not going to repeat it because there's only so much you can take in one day. But go
it
back and
was.
check out the
It
show.
was not worthy of repeating.
The dad jokes are usually they're limited time offer.
that's that's
They're
why
not
they're
all the time,
dad jokes.
but they're good. That was I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna fess up. I like that dad joke.
Oh, nice.
I like
Okay.
that dad joke. That's one of the ones I have liked. I like wordplay ones. I enjoy that. Also, when I get to put up a banner where I explain the dad joke and ruin it, always fantastic. If I get to ruin the dad joke by explaining it via text,
Yeah,
chef's
it's not
kiss.
a joke if you have to
Yes.
explain it afterwards.
No, and I love when I do because it's just like a little extra just hint of how bad dad jokes are. Christine agrees,
Uh,
pretty heinous. All right, well with that, the stuff we talked about today on Two Other Guys, I thought we would talk about it a little bit ourselves because we may or may not have been in the business of promoting ourselves and selling things for some time now. So Terry, what did you take out of all that? We were talking about marketing and voices and kind of finding your voice and sharing. What was the big thing you kind of took out of it? Or what kind of struck a
I
chord with you?
Yeah, I thought that some of the comments about well, I feel like an imposter when I'm out there,
Mm,
and I
mm,
think that everybody who does things like podcasts or everybody who speaks at trade shows, part of you inside is like, am I really an expert at this? I don't know if I am. but I think a lot of folks have a lot more expertise in what they do
yeah,
and what they
yeah,
share than they realize inside. So it it was interesting that they were all kind of making those types of comments, but
yeah.
also all three influencers out there in the industry. So
Yeah. Oh, and this is here, like Terry said, here we have people who are in the pages of Screen Printing Magazine, who have won awards, who are being featured on the apparel list, places where we go for news. And I know when I was first starting digitizing, I was in a room by myself for months and months, not knowing anyone from the industry, never having seen industry magazine. And when I first read industry magazines, I thought of each of those people as like they were just the gods of the world of embroidery. And when I first met them, and then I eventually became friends with them, it was so weird because like their names meant something to me that they were people. They were normal people working in shops, and I had completely inflated what my concept of these people were. And I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's the thing. All of us are just random people who have done a thing that you're doing.
yeah,
It isn't like that. Now, don't get me wrong. We like to joke around in the in the speakers lounges and stuff. We make jokes about it, but at the same time, like all of us come to this with our own baggage and nervousness and preparation we got to
yeah.
do and everything else. In
Well,
fact, I
when I
yeah
first met Scott Fresner,
yeah
and he's getting a little bit further away from the industry now. But when I started, Scott Fresner was like the guru of screen printing. He wrote the book
yeah
How to Print
yeah
T-shirts for Fun and Profit, and
yeah
about 10 years into the industry, uh, when Scott uh, recognized me at a trade show,
yeah.
I thought I was in t-shirt heaven all of a sudden. It's like Scott Fresner knows who I am. How is that?
Oh, totally. And I mean, honestly, it's the same thing. When I started, I was a podcast listener before I was on, the Three Other Guys as a guest, and then became the producer. I was a listener. I was you guys. So
Yeah.
the story can end in a very different way than it starts. And honestly, a lot of it's about like the stuff that the ladies talked about today. It was authenticity and sharing where you are and understanding that your real voice is what people want to hear and building community and helping people all of that is the real. That is what really gets you where you are. And
Yeah.
I think we got a couple of good comments here that are worthwhile to say. And I like this from Ramona. She says, maybe not an expert, but knowledgeable and another knowledge gatherer to share. Can that be good enough?
Yeah.
The early days of
Exactly.
social media were curation. Everything was curation. People weren't making content for social media at the time, and curation was a huge component of it. I still think that's great. Plus your commentary from where you are in your current path in your industry on the thing that they talk about. If you add something, that's value.
Well, I love knowledge gatherer
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I will in the past when I would give my list of potential seminars I'm going to do, I would say, okay, what do I know most about? Now I'm like, you know what I'd not really like to be better, more knowledgeable about is this. So I'm going to suggest it as a
yeah,
seminar,
yeah,
and then I'm going to research it and gather knowledge about it and then share it with people. And I'm doing it as much for me as I am for the audience. So and we were talking about Fort Worth.
yeah,
uh, Impressions Expo has asked me to do 2 seminars that I've never done before. They're not having me do the ones that I did at previous shows. So and one of those is a subject like that. So I'm going to
oh
be
yeah.
gathering info between now and September and presenting it. So
Well, and what I'd like to say, and I mean, by the way, Terry is an excellent presenter, as you guys know. You've seen him on Terry the Guys, and that's part of it. But I think part of what happens in here also as an author, Terry's an excellent author. I think that part of what makes Terry's value there, even let's say he doesn't have experience in everything he's done, his experience that he does have, plus his ability to condense information and explain it well, that's a valued skill all to itself. Um, Journalists don't know everything that they're reporting on. They
right.
didn't live everybody's life. They learn how to interview people and report on it. And if you're someone who's partially in the industry but good at explaining stuff, that's enough. Like that's a lot. You already have an inside track, and if you're good at explaining things or teaching, then more power to you. That's a skill.
Well, and
And I think
part
that's
of my
really cool.
background too is not only having a
Yeah.
degree in journalism, but
Yeah.
running large production floors where I
Yes.
would be training people and how to do this and how to do that and how to
Yeah.
improve our shops and a lot of that rolled forward
For
into
sure.
seminars and things like that as well.
Oh,
So
for sure.
and
Yeah.
and Eric, obviously you're
Yeah.
a well recognized expert presenter in the industry as well. All those 3.5 hour seminars, I don't know, man, those are hard. I've only done that
Those are
once,
hard.
and that is a lot of information to put together and make it fit. This could
So
go 2 hours. This could go 5 hours. I'm not. It's a little easier in those
it's
hour
hard.
seminars.
I'm going to say this year I've been plus or minus 20 minutes a little bit. I've been adding a little too much value at the end of my seminars this last year. But at the same time, yeah, I think that they are hard. And I think that's something I'm trying to I'm trying not to just deflect the compliment because that's my initial reaction to be like, no, I suck at everything and I don't know why they have me there. But I will say this from the people who have talked to me about my seminars, they do the package of what I put together is unique to them. That's what I've heard is like the handout and the slide deck and the ton of information. What I do here is that it's a lot to go over, but that I give them ample opportunity through the handouts to look it over again, which is good. The ebooks that I produce, as Aaron always tells me, and that's worthwhile. Like I said, but that's the thing. I think everybody has a chance to doing something like that. If you're an excellent visual, learner and explainer and you're great at making graphics and you put up big graphics that explain topics quickly in one slide, that's a skill, and it's also one that I don't necessarily have all the time. I tend to use too many words,
Well,
but
I
that's
don't think a
that's all
lot of people
skills.
know this, Eric, that the ebook was in fact named after you.
I feel like it should be in the industry at this point since I've apparently all my handouts that were supposed to be, I guess everybody else is doing 5-page handouts and mine are 40. At the DAX show this year, I'd sold out my first class, but the long class I did on digitizing, and I'm talking to Scott before the show. So here's inside baseball stories, and they're saying, "Oh, you're sold out," and then I can't remember who else it was there with Scott who said, "Who cares? Print up a couple of other handouts and open up some more seats." And Scott looked at it and said, "There's not time. No,
That's a lot.
we don't
That's a
print
lot of
out more."
collating.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be the 45-page handout that I made to double sided." You're right. That's not fair, Scott.
Speaking of those slides, though, Aaron and I used to do seminars together, and on occasion,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
so funny because Aaron's slides would be like 4 paragraphs, and the next slide would be mine. It'd be 3 words, and then Aaron would have 4 more paragraphs, and my next slide was 1 word. I use the slides just to keep me on track, you know.
I have finally gotten to the point, and I have to thank you, and actually I have to thank like Marshall is another person who helped me with this too a little bit because I worked with them with Shirt Lab, and he kind of brought his slide format into it, and his format, his visual format, he comes from a design world. You know, his
Yes.
degree is in design. So when he put out the Shirt Lab stuff, when you do a Shirt Lab thing, he gives you a format. He's like, nah, these are what the slides look like. Put your words in them, but this is what the slides look like. I designed this stuff already. I mean, to make it easier for you, but
Yeah.
also to have consistent design because it's important to Marshall. But the thing is, between that and the way Terry does presentations, believe it or not, I learned to have slides where I make a really critical point in a couple of words, and I put that on the screen, and it's just like after all of my super technical, jargony stuff, like maybe Aaron does too, there will just be a boom, something on the screen in 4 words, and it's bold and it's 60 type and it's giant,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that makes there is a point to making points like that. My favorite one is I'll be talking about digitizing, and if you know anything about embroidery, what's on screen doesn't show up on the machine. You have to distort things purposefully because there's distortion that happens when you embroider. So what you make on screen will look wrong, and you just have to know that it's going to turn out right. So I'll be talking about all these things about distortion and compensation, all this stuff, and then I pop up a screen that says the screen is lying. Like, the screen lies. I'm like, I just stop right there and go, the screen is lying. It
Yeah.
doesn't like you. It doesn't want you to succeed, and it's trying to mess up your shirts.
I'm
And everybody
saying
just
words.
stops.
I'm
Yeah,
saying words. There's the
words.
takeaway.
Boom.
Words,
The
takeaway.
screen's lying. Yeah, I was just like, so thank you for reminding me to be a little more consistent and curt when we put up slides. But we have a couple of great comments in here I'm going to bring up. Um, Christine, which by the way, she's done lots of presenting and now show running as well. So people are out and seeing Christine. The weirdest and hardest thing for me to adjust to is that people are excited to meet me. I mean, they've seen me and read my articles. They're legitimately excited to see me in person. I don't get that because I'm just me. Yeah, same. I get it. I mean, same time, I was super excited to meet Terry and Aaron. I was super excited to meet all the people from the magazines. I remember, Bonnie and Jerry Lee and all the people who wrote for Stitches back in the day. I was super excited to see them and talk to them.
Yeah.
It just is how it is. But yeah, it's cool. Though I will say we have become a tribe unto ourselves. The educators, if you haven't heard us all talk to each other, we're kind of our own little tribe, as Terry always says, we're carnies.
Carnage, exactly. We just go town to town putting on a
You do.
show.
We meet our friends in different cities over and over every year, and that's it's
Tilt-a-whirl.
been lovely to be there. I don't know. Mine's long and slow. What, Ferris wheel? Takes too
I always
long.
picture Joe Dirt when I think of carnies.
You always have good movie and TV references, man. All right, a couple more good ones. Christine says, forming connections, but genuinely, not for the benefit you get, but because you really want to connect. Yeah, that was good. That was good today on the show. Talking about forming connections is huge. And Jeff of the Embroidery Nerd, who now also has his following, is teaching this year. I remember meeting Eric after watching and reading a lot of his stuff. I was a little nervous. Yeah, no need for that. I am just some random embroidery dude. Seriously, I just some dude who did some work out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the middle of nowhere. Don't worry.
And used to be a guest on Two Regular Guys while digitizing.
Yeah, I try not to digitize while I'm producing. I cannot swear on my life if there was a gun to my head that I haven't, because I totally have. But yeah, no,
We would
for
always,
sure.
every time you were a guest, we would always say somewhere in the middle of the show, "Are you digitizing right now?" Yes, I am.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But yeah, we have a couple of other great ones. Like we said, we talk a lot to our people here, so we'll bring some more comments up. Love this stuff though. Yeah. Christine, once again, I do the same thing with articles, Terry. What do I want to know about? What do I want to investigate? I suggest that topic and write about that. I learn so much that way.
Exactly.
Teaching. Nothing will make you formulate a real opinion on something quicker than having to explain it to somebody else.
Right. And also,
Yeah,
you may be knowledgeable at it, but by doing an article or doing a seminar, it makes you put it in order. It makes you
yes.
lay it all out, and it makes more sense to, for instance, to your employees, things like that. If you're
Big
if
time.
you put it all together like that.
Trying to make something crystallize
Yeah.
into something that has some structure to it that makes sense. Try to write about it, try and teach it. You'll get there quicker. I mean, it's not always perfect the first time. No lie. There's some topics that take a few runs before you get all the way there, but it gets better every time you teach it, I
Yeah.
think.
You
Certainly.
know, I was one time I worked at a company, we had 75 production floor employees, and and had this issue and that issue come up, and we would have these management meetings, and the owner of the company, somebody, he might say something about some issue we're having, and I'd start writing it down, and he'd stop. He goes, "You're going to write an article about this, aren't you?" And I'm like, "I am." But I'm not going to use your name.
I would love for people to know. I mean, I almost don't want to know. The original shop that I came from, it's almost all of my articles. There was a whole period of time where it was like things I wish the boss would listen to when I said them out loud. Like that was like a series of my articles were just like things that would really fix a lot if someone would listen. But yeah, that's and that's things. Sometimes we're trying to formulate those answers. And okay, on this the short slide method. Brian Bailey, by the way, creator of Brilliance, somebody who has taught more people than you even know. I've seen pictures of him teaching rooms that are bigger than anything I've managed. And he says, that's nice. Nothing's worse than sitting through a lecture where somebody simply says exactly what's on their lengthy slides. Yeah, it's like, if I could have read it, why are you reading it?
Right. You could have just mailed this to me.
Yeah. It's why I always
like that coffee mug
yeah.
that said, this meeting could have been an email.
Yeah, right. Oh, and don't get me wrong. That's why I like to sometimes I do the lengthy handouts because I'm like, I don't just want you to sit there and take notes. I want you to think while we're here so you have questions later. If you're just scribbling down all the slides, you're just not getting enough out of it. Plus,
Yeah.
I stop in the middle of my slides and tell stories about the industry because I can't help myself. So, invariably.
That's not me at all. Oh, wait, no.
Oh, no. Wait, that's exactly. I learned it from watching you, Terry. And Todd says there were trees outside Eric's class protesting. Yeah. No, there weren't. I had already used them all.
They were carrying signs, which was kind of a weird
still
thing.
That's creepy.
But the signs are made of.
Oh man, what the heck? Totally. Let's see. So Christine also says, and I like this one, we are a tribe and it's great. I love seeing everyone where we're all at a show. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the interesting thing about the Two Really Guys today is that each one of our guests also said like their local tribe was part of how they got their business going.
Yeah.
Every time somebody tells me, and don't get me wrong, there's room for ClickFunnels and marketing. I myself am working Google and Amazon ads literally every day, working on, remarketing and funnels and all the stuff that you think about, all those buzzwords. Believe me, tracking and the pixels and all that stuff every day. And even I will say consistently, community is a massive driver. Word of mouth, and especially in decoration shops, is still a massive driver. Referrals have never gone away.
Right. Exactly right.
You can't tell me. There's still tons of businesses where that is their primary point of sale.
Well, I know a decorator here in Phoenix that 5 years ago he was working out of his kitchen. Now he's doing $5 million in sales, and he said, "I've never spent a dime on marketing. It's just all referral, and then another referral, and more referrals." And so now, hey, I'm not going to say that you're going to build your business to $5 million without without going out there and working at it, but his story was interesting for sure.
Well, and we'll say this. As part of a healthy marketing mixture, building community ties, working with people, helping people out, staying present in your local area, absolutely still useful. And anytime we talk about even, hey, the way we do it in Brilliance, why do we have the community we have? That's the thing. The rich community online of people who help each other and also do promotions for us. Not to make too fine a point of it. The community is part of the selling of that thing. And I think that's a lot of places. People want to belong to communities that they fit with. So it's worthwhile to make that happen.
I think it's important too to remember, don't join the group, don't join the Rotary Club just to sell T-shirts. No. Join to participate, and that comes along, because if you're in the T-shirt business and you tell anybody that you're in that business, they're probably in the market for what you're selling anyway. Totally. So, totally. But I think people want to buy from people that they can relate with.
Yes,
that people they have connection with, and that's the beauty of social media today. That that you can get out there and build those relationships, and the business comes.
Oh, and it doesn't necessarily have to be all business. I mean, we make jokes. Aaron is constantly giving Terry the business about like sharing his cocktail from the from traveling or the by the side of the pool stuff, but he knows it, mentions it, and other people know it, and that's enough to be part of marketing. Ask Jay and his tacos. Do you think
Exactly
that
right.
all Jay Bassell thinks about all day is tacos? I mean, I know it's a fun character. That's not all Jay thinks about all day. Those
It,
of us who know Jay also remember before he was the taco guy.
that's true. But he does
He
send me
does
an
love tacos.
inordinate number of messages that have the word taco in the message. So
Oh no, I think he has become to embody the Taco King as this has gone on. I mean, we could certainly write about how he's being possessed by some taco spirit, but at the same time, like, but that's also not what he primarily does. But people know it and they gravitate toward it, and it gives him a chance to say other thing he wants to do.
yeah,
It
exactly.
still gives him a platform, and it wasn't something that he was talking about marketing necessarily.
It's smart on his part though, because
Oh heck yeah,
he has built a personality around something very delicious.
oh yeah. The associations are perfect, and as a New Mexican, I can't argue with that. Another
Well, I
great
live in Phoenix,
well,
so
yeah.
we have a
I,
couple of spots where you can get a taco.
you might be able to get an okay taco in Phoenix. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
I see.
But
Are we
shots
going there?
fired. Shots fired. All
That's
right.
like when I lived in Kansas City and somebody in St. Louis talks about their barbecue. Seriously?
And you're like, if you have to, if you're starving, that's what we do. That's like Colorado chili. Bring up Colorado chili around here and see how you do. You're like, oh, Pueblo chili? Okay, no, that's fine.
Uh,
We don't need
See,
that here.
I like Cincinnati style chili, so a little skyline.
Oh,
You think that's oh that's funny because
it hurts.
either people love it or they're like
Well,
this tastes weird.
actually, what I'm going to say is this: I have got the problem of being a child of mixed heritages from different parts of the country. My mom is from Wisconsin, and my dad is from New Mexico. If you think I have not eaten chili with noodles in it and proper chili con carne within the same month, you are wrong, and it is a difficult thing to deal with. Yeah, so yeah, trust me, I have problems with my fessing up to this, but yes, chili with beans and noodles in it has happened in my life. But it
I've only seen that. I've never participated, I don't think.
it's hard. It's hard. You're like, no, it's good, but it's not right. But it's no, it tastes okay. But don't let me see me do this. But I'm adding chili to it, and I mean proper chili, like red and green. Let's not go too far. But
Proper chili.
proper chili. Christmas, by the way, if you're from Albuquerque, you know, Christmas means you have red and green chili on your stuff when you order it on the menu. You're coming
Oh,
through and they say, "Do you like red or green?" I'm a Christmas tribe person. I eat red and green every time, so I want to know what the chilies are like on the menu today. Thank you.
that's quite odd.
Christmas. Christmas every time. That's just how I go. But we got a comment here from Brian. We always talk about food on this show. It's not good. I need to lose weight, and I do not need to talk about chili today. Brian says the other skill you develop when on the road, as a presenter, by the way, is how to modify the presentation for the room full of people that you get. Sometimes you can't get through it all, but you make it fun and interesting while keeping it at the room level. Totally. Also, finding the people who
1000%.
are the people who are engaged, you learn to seek them out. And honestly, if there's people who are just not going to be there, but you have a large chunk of people who are vibing with the thing you're doing, you sometimes just lean into the room. If the people are there who are really engaging, you're going to lean into there. So I'll tell you this: if you engage with a presenter, they're probably going to go the direction you'd like them to go more than someone who's kind of checked out in the back of the room.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And or maybe you're skipping around a little bit in your presentation, but
Yeah.
as long as you have a real good handle on your presentation, it's easy to do that and say, well, I was going to talk about that, but here's let me answer that question for you. Yeah, when people engage, it makes it so much easier for the presenter.
Oh, I think that's the thing. Engagement is everything. If someone's asking questions, if they're present, if they're being there with you, it makes a difference. I think that's also kind of a business thing too. It behooves us to engage with our customer and actually. This is what I always say: oh, take the horrible risk to care about your customer more than their paycheck. More than the money they're bringing in, and you're going to find that there's a reward to that if you care. And you have to literally lean in and say, "What are you doing with these garments? What can I do to help you? What are they going to do for you? What do you expect them to do? What are you marketing? Who's going to see them, and where are they going to be used?" And also, how's your business doing? How's your event doing? You've got to lean in and engage with the customer and listen actively. It just makes a difference.
Well, Jay, we were talking about Jay Bassell.
Hmm.
That's one of the things he talks about is
Yeah.
when people are purchasing from you, ask them what they're going to do with it, because maybe you can suggest something that's
Yes.
a little more appropriate, a little better for that purpose.
I mean, it's a good habit. Sometimes there are bad habits that come around with that interaction. If you could name like one bad habit that you think decorators have, like what's the worst habit they have in building tribes or in, connecting with their customers?
Okay, here's the one bad habit that I want to talk about with everybody. It's
And you thought we were going to call you out.
I didn't know if I handled that well or not because I was just waiting for the button to go.
Thanks for being on, Terry, and thanks everybody for listening. Check you next week.